Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next hour. Campaigning is underway in full swing for the third phase of India's parliamentary election. Polling will be held on the 7th of May for 94 seats. The US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken visits Israel, meets President and Prime Minister and pushes for sending more aid into Gaza and also asks Hamas to accept the deal. Rafael Nadal bids an emotional farewell to the Madrid Open after a loss to Jiří Lehecka and receives a commemorative trophy for his 59 matches and 5 titles. And May 1st is celebrated as International Labour Day, also known as May Day or Workers' Day. It honors the achievements and contributions of workers globally. So let's get you the latest now on the world's largest democratic election taking place in India. Amid intense election campaigning, political parties in India are making every effort to get their message across to voters ahead of the third phase of general elections. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday campaigned for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the western Indian state of Gujarat. Abhishek Bose gets the day's roundup from the poll-bound states.
The poll fever goes high in India as political parties use all their might in their election campaigns. With top leaders hitting the field, canvassing is at its peak. India's Prime Minister held an election rally in Gujarat's Banaskantha. Addressing the gathering, the Prime Minister promised to make India the third largest economy in the world if voted to power for the third time.
मेरी गारंटी है आने वाले मेरे तीसरे टर्म में मैं हिंदुस्तान को दुनिया की तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बना के रहूंगा और जब देश तीसरी सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बनेगा तब उसकी समृद्धि, उसका सामर्थ्य, उसका लाभ वर्तमान पीढ़ी को भी मिलेगा और आपकी आने वाली पीढ़ी को भी मिलेगा.
India's Home Minister Amit Shah held a mega roadshow in the South Indian state of Karnataka. Earlier on Wednesday, Amit Shah held a public meeting in Central Indian state of Chhattisgarh. Shah highlighted the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party's government's effort in eliminating Naxalism from the country. He accused the opposition of harboring terrorism and Naxalism.
मोदी जी ने झारखंड, बिहार, ओडिशा, तेलंगाना, आंध्र, महाराष्ट्र, मध्य प्रदेश उससे नक्सलवाद को 5 साल में समाप्त किया है. छत्तीसगढ़ छूट गया था. मोदी जी को तीसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री बनाओ, 2 साल में नक्सलवाद को मूल समेत उखाड़ कर हम फेंक देंगे.
Meanwhile, Congress General Secretary Priyanka Gandhi Vadra addressed a public meeting in the northeastern state of Assam.
सरकार का पूरा ध्यान अपने स्वार्थ पे है. मंत्रियों का, सीएम का, सबका अपने ही स्वार्थ में है. हम कैसे कमाएंगे, जनता कैसे कमाएगी, जनता के क्या संघर्ष हैं, कोई इन पर ध्यान नहीं दे रहा है. आज बेरोजगारी इतनी ज्यादा बढ़ गई है, 45 सालों में सबसे ज्यादा बेरोजगारी आज हमारे देश में है. आपको मालूम है 70 करोड़ लोग बेरोजगार हैं.
The general election in India, the biggest electoral exercise of the world, is being held in 7 phases. The first and second phase of the ongoing polls are already over. The third phase of the elections will take place on May 7 across 93 constituencies of the lower house of the Indian Parliament in a total of 12 states and union territories. Abhishek Bosu's report for DD India.
A slump in voter turnout witnessed in the first 2 phases of the election is being attributed to multiple factors such as, the harvest season, a heat wave, migration, vacations, and also a lengthy voting season. DD India's Amritpal Singh and Gautam Roy spoke to voters in different parts of the country to understand what's actually contributed to this low voter turnout.
The 2024 Lok Sabha election is taking place in 7 phases, spanning 43 summer days. It's already May and there are 5 more phases to go, with the last one on June 1st. Mid-May to mid-June see searing heat and are the worst summer days in most parts of the country. The first phase on April 19th and the second one on April 26th showed a dip in voter turnout. Intense heat wave in most places where polling took place is being attributed as one of the reasons that contributed to the slump. The other factors being migration, especially from rural areas to cities, the harvest season, urban apathy, vacation season, and typically lengthy voting season. The voter turnout in Phase 1 was 66.14%, while Phase 2 saw a turnout of 66.71%. In 2019, the turnout for the seats that went to polls in Phase 1 was 69.4%, and those in Phase 2 was 69.2%. While there are multiple reasons for the dip in voter turnout, but people here in rural India say, apart from the sweltering heat, migration is a key reason for the low voter turnout. They say that the youth have migrated to the cities because there are less job opportunities here and they do not wish to come back for one day to cast their vote.
Migration is one of the biggest reasons for low voter turnout. Here in the village, the youth or even those aged 35 to 40 who are living outside for jobs, they don't prefer to travel just for one day.
Due to extreme heat, people tend to vote less in the Lok Sabha election.
Maybe one of the reason of not coming out to vote in this voting period, this may be one of the reason of the heat waves caused by this climate radiative forcer species as well as this El Nino impact.
In West Bengal's Murshidabad, which goes to polls on the 7th of May in third phase of the elections, farmers are in the fields. It's paddy harvesting time, and though the farmers and workers are busy cutting the crop and taking it to procurement centers, they say they won't miss out on voting.
I will finish my work first and then around 10-11 am, I will go and cast my ballot.
Everyone will go and vote. Marriage and other work won't get in the way. We will all vote.
Clearly, the spirit of democracy thrives in Bengal's hinterlands.
There is no dearth of reasons or excuses to not step out and vote. But there are people, and in large numbers, who say no matter how busy they are, they will exercise their franchise come polling day. With Amritpal Singh in Eta, Uttar Pradesh, Gautam Roy, Murshidabad, West Bengal for DD India.
Whereas as the election season grips the state of Goa, the fishermen there are struggling with dwindling catches, coastal restrictions, unfair enforcement, and also tourism's impact. The fight for sustainable fishing practices and protection of fishermen's rights continues. Here's Jessica Taneja's report.
In the tranquil village of Coco Beach, nestled along the picturesque coastline of Goa, fishermen have long relied on the bountiful waters of the Arabian Sea for their livelihoods. For generations, Denzel Cardoso's family has cast their nets into the shimmering waters, providing a fresh catch to sustain families and communities. However, beneath the surface of this idyllic scene, fishermen face a host of challenges. Overfishing and unsustainable practices have depleted the waters, making it increasingly difficult for fishermen like Denzel to make ends meet.
We are not getting much. These fish we can accept only the petrol money, not for profit. This money can come only the petrol.
But with each passing year, the once abundant fish stock grows scarcer. LED fishing, where bright lights are used by trawlers from Goa to attract fish, threatens the survival of traditional occupation.
To make matters worse, commercial interests encroach upon traditional fishing grounds. Hotels, resorts and tourism development take up valuable space along the coastline, limiting access to the sea and threatening the fishermen's way of life.
Despite these challenges, the fishermen of Coco Beach persevere. They navigate the shifting tides of climate change, adapting to unpredictable fish migration patterns and changing weather conditions. Yet they feel abandoned by the authorities, which fail to provide the support and infrastructure they need to thrive.
I am doing 25 years fishing. My father also fisherman. But now we are not getting fish. So what should use of this? We are having lots of problems. Goa government have to take action about it.
As the state continues to develop, finding a sustainable balance between conservation, economic growth and the needs of traditional communities will be crucial. Jessica Taneja for DD India.
Recently, Assam achieved a significant milestone in safeguarding its cultural legacy with the prestigious Geographical Indication or the GI tags, honouring 19 traditional products, including 13 deeply rooted in the heritage of the Bodo community. As the people of Kokrajhar gear up to exercise their democratic rights, the community's dedication to preserving their culture through GI tags resonates across the state and beyond as well. Tapas Bhattacharya sends us this report.
Known for its sprawling tea gardens, diverse wildlife sanctuaries and lively festivals, Assam recently achieved a significant milestone in preserving its cultural legacy. 19 traditional products and crafts from Assam have been honored with the prestigious Geographical Indication tag, a recognition of their unique origin and exceptional quality. 13 of these GI tag items are deeply rooted in the heritage of the Bodo community, the largest tribal group in Assam.
Bodo culture is unique and this culture is practiced by the Bodo society since time immemorial. And in some history, it is mentioned that since last 4,000 years, Bodo culture is visible in this part of the country. Bodo culture and tradition is always unique. That's why now Bodo culture, so many items got the GI tagging, and also it is now popularly known by the people of India and the globe.
From the rhythmic beats of Jotha to the intricate weaving of the Iri silk, each item reflects centuries of craftsmanship and cultural significance.
So we are proud of our culture. Bagurumba is the main our dance, which our ladies they perfume with colorful dresses, and also we have Kherai and many different cultural items. Now Bodo culture is already protected after getting the GI tagging.
On 7th of May, the people of Kokrajhar will exercise their democratic right as they head to the polls. The community would like not to just preserve their culture through GI tags, but also supporting artisans, weavers and craftsmen across Assam. These GI tagged items showcases the rich tapestry of Assam's heritage, captivating the audiences worldwide with their charm and uniqueness. As Assam continues to preserve its cultural heritage, these GI tagged items stand as a testament to the state's rich legacy and unwavering spirit. They bridge the past with the present, weaving together tradition, innovation and pride. With camera person Naveen, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Assam.
Still to come here on DD India News Hour. Well, DD India correspondents track the poll pulse of the voters across the country. We'll be talking to them.
Hype versus facts. In-depth news and analysis with experts who will help you decide why this election matters. DD India is the main election headquarters with numbers most accurate, data most reliable, and viewership across the platforms. Stay tuned to the Great Indian Election only on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. Now, in Karnataka's Shimoga, people are witnessing star power in the election like never before. The constituency carries a VIP tag, as it was represented by the former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa and his family for the past many years. And prior to that, it was the former Congress Chief Minister, late S. Bangarappa's seat as well. Now, the generation next of both these leaders are pitted against each other. Campaigning alongside them are the film stars of the Kannada film industry. Our correspondent Ravi Daman takes a look.
Shimoga Lok Sabha seat in Karnataka is witnessing a clash of stars in the electoral battle. In fact, it is turning out to be a multi-starrer blockbuster as far as the candidates and their glamour quotient is concerned. A pocket war of the BJP for the past many poll battles, this time around, the seat is generating a keen interest statewide. Sitting MP B.S. Raghavendra, son of former Chief Minister and tallest BJP leader of the state, B.S. Yediyurappa, is pitted against Geeta Shivrajkumar. Geeta is daughter of another Shimoga leader and former state CM S. Bangarappa. Her another claim to fame is that she is daughter-in-law of one of the most revered film stars of the Kannada cinema, Dr. Rajkumar. Her husband Shivrajkumar is also a hugely successful film actor. Her brother S. Madhu Bangarappa, who is canvassing for her in the constituency, is also a movie star and a minister in the state government.
When I see them, I feel very happy because they are so happy to see us there, and so they hold our hands and they hug him, and the women and even everybody, even the kids come there to see us. So it makes me very happy there.
We should not think as a superstar and go and ask for the vote. We should be a human first, because they connect with the films and they like one of my program in the TV. So they get connected with that. But apart from that, there's one thing called human nature in that, where instantly they get attached to that feeling.
Faced with a carpet bombing of sorts by the husband and brother of the Congress candidate, the BJP nominee has also brought in many sandalwood stars to campaign for him. Stars like Tara joined the campaign and have extensively travelled in the area. B.S. Raghavendra doesn't think that star power is going to be a serious challenge for him to retain his family pocket borrow.
Sir, very good. The campaign is going on. We are lucky because respected PMs have visited our constituency. They bless the Karyakartas and motivate the Karyakartas to doing the election. Voters also curious to see the film actors, but it is not converted to as a vote.
In effect, the voters of Shimoga are witnessing a blockbuster show unveil itself in real time in these elections. The real candidates are fighting for the votes, and the stars following them are fighting for the attention of these voters. Shimoga goes to poll on 7th of May.
Shimoga has been a VIP seat in Karnataka for long, but during these elections, it is having an extended affair with stardom too. And the people here aren't complaining at all, because not every day the silver screen stars of Kannada cinema come to their doorsteps seeking their cooperation, and that too from both the major political parties. With camera person Moor Mukut Sharma, Ravi Dhiman, DD India in Shimoga.
Well, politics is intensifying in Madhya Pradesh as 9 constituencies of the state go to the polls in the third phase of the general elections. Among the key players in the politics of this central Indian state is Shivraj Singh Chauhan, a 4-term chief minister and now also a 5-term member of parliament, who is from the state and who is contesting from the Vidisha constituency. Here's DD India correspondent Akshay Dongre speaking to him.
Right now in Vidisha of Madhya Pradesh, and we have one of the biggest face of this Lok Sabha election, Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Himself, he has been 5 times member of parliament and chief minister for 18 years. सर यहाँ पर हम देख रहे हैं कितना प्यार मिल रहा है आपको 18 साल आप मुख्यमंत्री रहे हैं।
ये मेरा परिवार है, मेरी बहनें, मेरे भाई, मेरे भांजे भांजी, ये उनका लाड़ और प्यार है। ये नेता और जनता नहीं है, ये हमारा परिवार है।
सर इस बार आप फिर एक बार दिल्ली जाएंगे, क्या क्या आपके मुख्य एजेंडाज रहेंगे मध्य प्रदेश को लेकर और देश को लेकर चुनाव?
विकसित भारत के निर्माण में मदद करना, जनता का कल्याण और विकास, और विशेषकर बहनों को आगे बढ़ाने में कोई कसर न छोड़ना।
कोई संदेश सर आप देना चाहेंगे देश के लिए इस चुनाव में आपके काम को लेकर, विदिशा को?
सब काम को देख के वोट करें, मेरा यही निवेदन है। जिन्होंने अच्छा काम किया है उनको वोट दें। मोदी जी को प्रधानमंत्री बनाना है, एक तरफा बीजेपी को वोट करें।
400 पार के नारे पे क्या कहेंगे?
400 पार होगी।
We just spoke to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, who is also a candidate from Vidisha Lok Sabha constituency. He has been a member of parliament for 5 terms and a chief minister for 18 years, one of the tallest figure in the politics of Madhya Pradesh. Once again, going for polls in the Lok Sabha election from Vidisha constituencies. It remains to be seen that whether this love will also translate into votes and whether a new record will be made in Vidisha Lok Sabha constituency. With camera person Ramakant Sharma, Akshay Dongre, DD India.
Well, let's get a feel then of what's happening on the ground. Let's talk to our correspondents. Meghna Dev is joining us from Ahmedabad in Gujarat. Tapas Bhattacharya is in Assam. And Gautam Roy is from Dakshin Maldaha in West Bengal. Thank you, all of you, for being with us. Now, Meghna, with Surat already decided, which of the 25 seats going to the polls looks like a close contest?
Well, if we see out of all the 26 seats, 25 seats will be going for the polls. Gujarat, all over Gujarat, all the seats are going for polls in the third phase, which will be held on 7th May, hardly a week left, and that's the reason that the campaigning for the polls are intensifying. We had Prime Minister Narendra Modi campaign today in Gujarat. He did go to Sabarkantha, as well as he also did a public rally in Banaskantha. Now, when we actually talk about Banaskantha, the northern part of Gujarat, it is a very important district in the north of Gujarat, where the Banas dairy is situated, where a lot of women are in the sector and men are in the sector of dairy. So this rally took place, but there is a very close contest between the Congress candidate and the BJP candidate. The Congress candidate being Geniben Thakur, she enjoys a lot of popularity in Banaskantha specifically.
Okay.
Besides, we have Rekha Chaudhary from the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Yes.
Having said that, when we talk about close contest, Mark, we do see a close contest in Bharuch. There is a good contest, if you can say, between Mansukh Wasawa and Chaitar Wasawa. Besides that, we will definitely see a contest in Rajkot, in Amreli. These are the important places where we can see a contest between the India Alliance candidate in Bharuch, elsewhere the Congress and the BJP. What we also definitely see here is that since BJP has been getting a lot of vote percentage in the last assembly elections, they will definitely in 2022 they will definitely try to encash and convert it for securing their seats in the general elections. So that's basically the strategy for the BJP, and the Congress will definitely try to encash on the support that they enjoy in the semi-rural and rural areas of Saurashtra and some areas of North Gujarat.
Yes,
So Congress
yes,
is trying
Meghna.
to strengthen its turf already, which it has where it has some base in Gujarat.
Right. Tapas, briefly, if you will, shine the spotlight on the key constituencies that we need to be looking at in Assam in this phase.
Well, Assam will be going to polls for the third phase on 7th of this month, and there are actually 4 constituencies which are very important: Barpeta, Dhubri, Kokrajhar and Guwahati. And in all these places, apart from, let's say, Guwahati, it's a 3-corner battle that is going to take place. So watch out for all the action, because we are tracking everything, especially in Barpeta and in Dhubri. It's going to be a very difficult choice for the voters in these 2 assembly constituencies. In Guwahati, it's going to be between Congress and BJP. But in the rest of the other places, the 3 other places that we have been talking about, Dhubri, Barpeta and Kokrajhar, it's a 3-corner battle that we have to take into consideration.
Gautam, among the 4 seats in this phase in West Bengal, 2 are from Maldaha. So, I mean, how do the south and the north actually differ from each other?
Well, they differ in the sense of their composition, because what happened was earlier Malda was one constituency, but in 2009 it underwent a delimitation and was split into Uttar, which is north, and Dakshin, and that's south Malda. And we saw how the difference in the demographic change then panned out, because in 2019 elections, the BJP registered a win in north, that is Uttar Malda, and in the south, the story pretty much remained the same because of the domination of one particular family of ABA Ghani Khan Chaudhary. His brother Abu Hashim Khan Chaudhary won the last time round. This time, it's his son who's contesting on the Congress ticket. So that's the big difference between Uttar and Dakshin Malda. It's a legacy of ABA Ghani Khan Chaudhary, that family which is still prevailing if you look at the last election in Dakshin Malda. But in Uttar Malda, the BJP managed to open an account among these 4 seats. The other 2 are with the Trinamool Congress, which is Murshidabad, as well as Jangipur, which used to be the seat one time of the former President of India and tall Congress party figure Pranab Mukherjee.
Yes, indeed. Meghna, coming back to you, 3 heavyweight ministers in the Modi government are contesting from Gandhinagar, Porbandar and Rajkot. Does being a minister add weight, to the profile of the candidate, or does it put more pressure on it?
When we talk about the Gandhinagar constituency, Mark, it is very important to note that this has been a legacy seat for the BJP. Past 4 decades, the Gandhinagar seat has been with the BJP. It has been BJP senior leader and Home Minister Amit Shah's home ground, specifically when he used to campaign for Lal Krishna Advani here, when he used to win this Lok Sabha seat. And we also had seen earlier Atal Bihari Vajpayee also contest and win on this seat. But this seat, when we talk, experts say that there are no calculations that work on this seat, because Rajesh Khanna, being such a huge celebrity and having such a fan following, had to face defeat on this seat. So basically, it is Amit Shah's strong ground which he is playing on. Besides, when we are talking about the Porbandar seat, where Mansukh Mandavia is contesting, now that seat has always been very important for the Congress, because Arjun Modwadia is a very tall leader in Porbandar and in that region. But just because he has also resigned from the Congress and joined the BJP, it changes the whole game, and it will be very interesting to see how it pans out in these general elections for the Porbandar seat. And when we are talking about Rajkot, from where Parshottam Rupala is contesting, and against him is from the Congress, Paresh Dhanani is contesting from the Congress, who had once defeated Rupala earlier in the election. So what we definitely see, and obviously there has been a whole controversy of the Rajput community associated to Parshottam Rupala and the Rajkot constituency there. So that would definitely cause some, if we can say, some calculations to go here and there. But we will definitely have to see how the voting happens, and after that, how it pans out during the results.
Sure. Tapas, again, I have to ask you to be brief because we seem to be running short of time. But, of these 4 seats, the BJP has given 3 to its allies. And the Congress is contesting on all 4 seats in Assam in this phase. Tell us about the relative strength of each coalition.
Well, let's just put it this way: BJP doesn't have that kind of a presence in these 4 states. In 3 states, apart from Guwahati. If you take a close look at Dhubri, you will find that it's a Muslim majority state where AGP. It's a direct fight between NDA, Ally, AGP versus you have the AIUDF, that is All India United Democratic Front's Badruddin Ajmal. He's fighting that he is going to contest this seat for the 4th time. So in Dhubri, it's a direct fight between these two, and obviously there is also Congress MLA Rakibul Hussain, and today Priyanka Gandhi had a massive rally in Dhubri where we saw more than 50,000, almost more than 50,000 people turned up. So it does add a different layer to the fight. Now again in Barpeta, after the delimitation, we have seen that the situation and the demography has changed. But again, there AGP's Fani Bhushan Chaudhary, it's NDA ally again. BJP has thrown its weight behind AGP's Fani Bhushan Chaudhary to make its mark against Congress. And again, remember, Barpeta used to be Congress stronghold.
Yes,
so, those are some of the things that one needs to take into consideration. But again, as I mentioned, they have a direct fight in Guwahati. So that's going to be very interesting. Guwahati, they have BJP's Bijuli Kalita and Congress Meera Borthakur. So they will be pitted against each other. But most of the other 3 parliamentary constituencies, it's BJP will be fighting the election battle with its allies. So that's going to be interesting because they need the numbers. And as when we spoke to the Chief Minister of Assam, he said that they are looking at 11 to 12 seats at least out of the 14.
All right. A final word from you, Gautam. The second phase saw a significant fall in voter turnout from the first phase in West Bengal, even though it seems to have risen in other parts of the country. But both are still much higher than the national average in West Bengal. So, to what extent are voters looking forward to this third phase?
I would say that they are looking forward to the third phase. We know that in this particular region, the 4th seats that I mentioned, the turnout has been above 80%, going up to almost 85% if you consider Murshidabad. So people have been enthusiastic in the past about voting as well. We've been talking a lot about the weather, but people who work in the fields, who work perhaps in a lot of businesses also, trades such as mango, for instance, in Malda, they're used to being out in the heat and working in the heat. So that is not that much of a consideration. But one thing could come into play, which is Rabindra Jayanti. It's on the 8th of May, a day after the date of the election. So sometimes people might think that, we can take some time off. But let's hope the 7th of May otherwise is in the middle of the week, which is a contrast from all the other phases, because the other 6 phases are all around the weekend, and there are some holidays there as well. So that is also being said to be one of the factors that the turnout was slightly lower in phases 1 and 2. Maybe we won't see that happening in phase 3.
Meghna Dev from Ahmedabad, Tapas Bhattacharya from Assam, and Gautam Roy from Dakshin, Malda and West Bengal. Thanks very much. So still to come here on DD India News Hour. Anthony Blinken pushes Benjamin Netanyahu for sustained aid into Gaza. Chinese aggression ramps up in South as well as East China Seas. DRDO successfully flight tests, in fact, a supersonic missile torpedo system.
Hype versus facts. In-depth news and analysis with experts who will help you decide why this election matters. DD India is the main election headquarters with numbers most accurate, data most reliable, and viewership across the platforms. Stay tuned to the Great Indian Election only on weekdays at 8:30 p.m. IST and 1500 hours GMT.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn. The U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has reiterated the importance of accelerating and sustaining aid into Gaza during his meeting with Israel's top leadership today. Blinken will next visit Israel's Ashdod port, which recently had talked about aid to Gaza. And this is the seventh trip to West Asia since Hamas attacked Israel on the 7th of October last year. Here's more on this report.
Another visit by a top US diplomat to Israel is yet another effort to solve the conflict engulfing the region since the October 7 terror attack perpetrated by Hamas over innocent Israeli civilians. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken discussed ways to get more aid into Gaza during his meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog in Tel Aviv. This is Blinken's seventh trip to West Asia since Hamas attacked Israel on 7th October last year. Blinken asked Hamas to agree to a ceasefire and release Israeli hostages.
Even in these very difficult times, we're determined to get a ceasefire that brings the hostages home and to get it now. And the only reason that wouldn't be achieved is because of Hamas. There is a proposal on the table, and as we've said, no delays, no excuses. The time is now, and the time is now long past due to bring the hostages home to their families.
Thanking the United States for its support, Israeli President Isaac Herzog said that the release of hostages should be the international community's utmost priority.
I want to thank you for the strong support and the moral clarity in what you've said regarding the initiation of this terrible situation, the war that was waged upon us, the atrocities, as well as, of course, the plight of the hostages. We yearn for the immediate return of the hostages. It is and should be the top priority of the international community. I think there should be a unanimous decision of the international community that the freeing the hostages is an utmost priority.
This was followed by a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. During the meeting, Blinken once again pushed for sending more aid into Gaza and asked Hamas to accept a deal. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed again to go ahead with a long-promised offensive on the southern Gaza city of Rafah. Netanyahu said that with or without a deal, Israel intended to pursue the operation to destroy the remaining Hamas combat formations in Rafah. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken later met Israeli protesters who have been demanding the release of their relatives being held hostage by Hamas. He told them that US is determined to bring back the hostages.
Bringing your loved ones home is at the heart of everything we're trying to do. And we will not rest until everyone, man, woman, soldier, civilian, young, old, is back home. There is a very strong proposal on the table right now. Hamas needs to say yes and needs to get this done.
The US State Department stated that it has not seen a credible Israeli plan for a military operation in Rafah addressing its concerns.
It continues to be the case that we have not seen a credible plan that would address the varying areas of concerns that you've heard me talk about a number of times from up here and others, primarily the ability to address the serious humanitarian concerns surrounding, again, Rafah is a region with more than 1 million people seeking refuge. It's an area that continues to be an important conduit for humanitarian aid as well as a safe departure for foreign nationals. And so any kind of operation that does not address some of these key concerns would certainly be opposed by us.
Israel is retaliating against Hamas in Gaza over an October 7 attack on southern Israel led by the militant group. Israel said about 1,200 people were killed and more than 250 were taken hostage in the assault, and Gaza health authorities say Israel has killed more than 34,000 people in its offensive in Gaza since then. Bureau Report, DD India.
The Philippines on Wednesday accused China's Coast Guard of elevating tensions in the South China Sea after its use of water cannons that damaged 2 of its vessels. On Tuesday, 2 Chinese Coast Guard vessels used water cannons against the Philippine ship. Meanwhile, Taiwan also remains on high alert following China's sea trials of its advanced aircraft carrier, the Fujian. Let's look at this report.
Tensions in the South China Sea reached new heights this week as the Philippines accused China's Coast Guard of aggressive maneuvers, escalating an already volatile situation. On Wednesday, Philippines condemned China's use of water cannons, which damaged 2 of its vessels. This marks the first time China has directly employed such tactics against Filipino ships, prompting outcry over violations of international maritime laws.
Despite of all the provocation of the Chinese Coast Guard, our Coast Guard vessel and BFAR remains to be there. This goes to show that we're not going to be deterred. Our Philippine maritime forces, whether BFAR or Coast Guard, will still carry out our mission in protecting the interests of the Filipino fishermen.
Early on Tuesday, 2 Chinese Coast Guard vessels used water cannons against the Filipino ship. Chinese Foreign Ministry dismissed Filipino protests, urging them to cease provocations and respect China's sovereignty.
The maritime police vessel, an official vessel of the Philippines, are intruding into the water of Hongqiang Island without the consent of the Chinese side. The Chinese Coast Guard took the necessary measures to firmly remove them. China advises the Philippine side to immediately stop its infringing and provocative actions and not to challenge China's firm determination to safeguard its sovereignty.
Meanwhile, Taiwan remains on high alert following China's sea trials for its advanced aircraft carrier Fujian. Taiwan's National Security Bureau emphasized the importance of stability in the Taiwan Strait amidst escalating tensions in the region.
Well, in a first, a migrant whose asylum application was rejected by the UK has been sent to Rwanda under a voluntary scheme. Under the voluntary scheme, the government would pay around $3,700 each to asylum seekers to move to Rwanda. Separately, the UK Home Office has they've begun detentions as well of asylum workers that they plan to send to Rwanda as part of a compulsory deportation program, for which it recently passed that new legislation that we've heard of. Now, the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said flights to Rwanda under that controversial program should start in July. The opposition Labour Party also says that the plan, which is due to see thousands of asylum seekers sent to Rwanda this year to have their claims processed there, is unworkable and it's also a gimmick. The landmark Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between India and the UAE completes 2 years on the 1st of May 2024. It has made trade much easier between the two countries. My colleague Munmun Bhattacharya spoke to the UAE's ambassador to India, Dr. Abdul Nasar Al-Shali. It's happened in Mumbai on this milestone. Let's take a look.
How was the idea mooted of having a CEPA, a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement?
India for us is only a natural partner that we would do this with. And so talks began, and no one thought that they will be done under 3 months, but everyone pulled through, and it was quite a feat to be achieved. And here we are today celebrating the 2nd year anniversary of implementing it. It's been going great. Trade has increased by 16%. Our trade, including oil, is at $85 billion. Interest between the two countries in terms of companies wanting to invest either way is phenomenal. I have meetings scheduled all the time with companies from the UAE wanting to invest and expand into India, or Indian companies wanting to expand into the UAE. And what I find personally interesting is that whenever a business roundtable is held that is CEPA related, the interest varies based on where you do the business roundtable. So if you do it in this state, you will get representatives from this emirate. And if you do it in that state, you will get representatives from the second emirate. And to me, this is a true and genuine connection not only between the two countries, but between our emirates and the Indian states.
Well, representatives from 18 political parties from 10 countries have arrived in India at the invitation of the Bharatiya Janata Party. This happened Wednesday. They are getting a first-hand experience and insights into the BJP's election campaign. So the participating parties include Australia's Liberal Party, Bangladesh's Awami League, the Israeli Likud Party, Uganda's National Resistance Movement, Tanzania's Chama Cha Mapinduzi, Russia's United Russia Party, and also parties from Sri Lanka, Mauritius and Nepal. The representatives met the BJP National President JP Nadda and senior leaders S. Jaishankar and Ashwini Vaishnav at the BJP headquarters. They were briefed about the BJP's election campaign strategies along with the overall electoral process.
BJP is a good party, it's transparent, and that's why they have invited the world. They invited us to come, because if they had something to hide, they wouldn't want us to come and see.
It was a unique experience, and the interactive sessions were really interesting, very informative, and I'm very impressed by the kind of organization that has been put into place for this exercise.
Trying to organize this election in a huge country, which is a subcontinent, to do it in a transparent way, to do it in a very responsible way, and then, which is the most important, to create for your society a better future, as BJP did in the last 10 years. I think we have a lot to learn from this experience.
The gross goods and services tax collections have touched a record high level of more than $23 billion in April 2024 in India. India's finance ministry in a statement said that the GST collection registered a 12.4% year-on-year growth, fueled by a significant uptick in domestic transactions and imports. After accounting for refunds, the net GST revenue for April 2024 reflects an impressive growth of 15.5% compared to the same period last year. This is the highest level of GST collections recorded since the July 2017 of the indirect tax regime. So let's take a look now at other stories making news. And India's Defence Research and Development Organization on Wednesday successfully flight tested the supersonic missile-assisted release of the torpedo from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island, which is off the coast of Odisha, which is a state in eastern India. The next generation missile will enhance the anti-submarine warfare capability of the Indian Navy. India's President Draupadi Murmu on Wednesday evening offered prayers at the Ram Lalla at the Sri Ram Janambhoomi temple in Uttar Pradesh's Ayodhya. After performing rituals, members of the temple authority offered the president a miniature replica of the temple. President Murmu also performed the Sarayu Aarti on the banks of the river Sarayu. And still to come here on DD India News Hour. International Labour Day celebrated worldwide. It advocates the rights of workers. And Rafael Nadal bids an emotional farewell to the Madrid Open after a loss to Ziri Lehika.
Decides in the world's largest election.
We help you feel the pulse of the nation.
I am Sakal Bhatt.
I am Shubhendu Ghosh.
This election season, join us on a journey of India.
We are in Assam. This is the tea city of India.
From down south, Tamil Nadu.
Discover the colors of democracy.
Gateway to northeast of India.
Coastal state of Kerala. Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Mark Lynn, and let's now go across to Tel Aviv. We're going to be talking to our correspondent Sarah Coates on the visit of the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to Israel. Sarah, the U.S. says that, there still isn't a credible Israeli plan for a military operation in Rafah which addresses its concerns. This was by the U.S. State Department. How is Israel viewing this statement?
Well, Israel says it does have a plan and it will release this to the United States in due time. But this is certainly a real fear in the global community as to where these some 1.3 million internally displaced Palestinians that are sheltering down in Rafah should go when this military operation does take place. Now, we have been hearing from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the last few days. He says that this is vital to go down into Rafah. This is where the IDF believes that the last 4 Hamas battalions are stationed and potentially where some of these Hamas leaders, including Yahya Sinwar, may be hiding, surrounded by hostages. So certainly a lot of concern over this lack of plan that's been released yet. The public still has no idea as to where these people should go. We do understand that quite a few people have already been evacuating from this area in Rafah, but people in the Strip say there is simply no place safe left for them to go. Now, a little earlier today, Army Radio was reporting saying that the IDF will be moving people to central parts of the Gaza Strip, to so-called new safe zones. But really, at this hour, it's yet to be seen when this will be constructed, how long it will take, and just how they actually envisage getting these people from the south into the central part of the Strip, given that they really have no mode of transportation.
Sarah, also is support waning among the Israelis for Netanyahu's rhetoric for another... I don't have another word. Given that a hostage deal still remains elusive and military action doesn't seem to be achieving its purpose.
It certainly is waning, Mark. A new poll was actually released yesterday here in Israel, which shows that more than half, I should say, of the Israeli public believe that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, should resign immediately. And it's interesting, 28% of responders were people who actually voted for him. Now, this poll says that 54 of respondents say that elections need to be held early. And if they were to be held today, the big winner here would be Benny Gantz. He's from the National Unity Party. He's the War Cabinet member, a former defence minister. He would come out with 31 seats, while Benjamin Netanyahu and his Likud party would get just 18. So this really goes to show the popularity really dropping here for Benjamin Netanyahu. And we've been seeing this throughout the entire war. People really gathering every weekend, protests stepping up even throughout the week as well, as people call on the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to do a deal to release these hostages, saying that no military action is as important as the lives of these 133 people who've been now held in the Gaza Strip for more than 200 days, with still barely any information on their welfare or their whereabouts. Mark.
Sarah Coates from Tel Aviv, thanks very much. May 1, International Labour Day. The world stands in solidarity to honour workers, their achievements, and to also advocate for their rights. Now, from Sri Lanka to Bangladesh and from India to Seoul, diverse communities rallied for fair labour practices and social justice. Yet in Manila, clashes erupted as activists demanded change. As we celebrate International Workers' Day, let's also remember the ongoing global struggle for dignity and the respect in the workplace. Let's take a look at this story.
1st May is celebrated as International Workers' Day, also known as Labour Day in some countries. This day honors the achievements and contributions of workers globally. From vibrant parades to peaceful demonstrations, people from all walks of life come together to advocate for workers' rights, fair labour practices and social justice. International Labour Day is also special for thousands of tea garden workers in Indian state of Assam. With over 1,000 tea gardens, they constitute a significant portion of the state's population, contributing to 53% of India's tea production. Despite their pivotal role, challenges like wages and access to basic amenities persist. In Sri Lanka, International Labour Day observed today with a focus this year on ensuring safety and health at work amidst a changing climate. In Colombo alone, 14 May Day parades and rallies took place with approximately 40 events planned across Sri Lanka. In his May Day message, President Ranil Wickremesinghe invited all political parties to come together for a prosperous future of the nation. The historic May Day also observed in Bangladesh in a befitting manner. It's a public holiday in Bangladesh. This year's theme of May Day in Bangladesh is Shromik Malik Gorbodesh, Smart Hobe Bangladesh. On International Labour Day, thousands of South Korean workers gathered in downtown Seoul on Wednesday, staging a large-scale May Day rally to criticize the government's labour policies and demand improved labour rights. Meanwhile, dozens of activists clashed with anti-riot police in Manila after they were stopped from holding a demonstration outside the US Embassy in the Philippine capital. Police used water cannon to quell the activists as they tried to get past a barricade. Thousands marched in Madrid calling for better working conditions on May Day. As the world comes together to celebrate International Workers' Day, it's a reminder of the ongoing struggles and triumphs of workers everywhere. From Asia to Americas, people are united in their call for a fair treatment, dignity and respect in the workplace. Bureau Report for DD India.
And here's a quick check now on the sports news. In tennis, the 22-time Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal fell in straight sets to Jiří Lehečka in the fourth round of the Madrid Open. And this was his final appearance in the tournament. He has won it 5 times. The Czech 30th seed, Jiří Lehečka, ended Rafael Nadal's Madrid Open run on Tuesday. Following a straight sets win in the last 16, Nadal also received a commemorative trophy from the tournament organizers for his 59 matches that he's played there, and he's won 5 titles, as we said earlier, the first on indoor hard courts and then the other 4 on clay courts. And in his that's the current form in which the Masters 1000 event takes place. Before, he also addressed an emotional audience. The Spaniard is one of the greatest players of all time, and he finally walked off the court, and organizers and staff, including tournament director Feliciano Lopez, formed a guard of honor to send him off on his way. There were sounds of standing ovation from the entire crowd at the Kaya Majika. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. So for those of you also who are on the go, you can get the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India app. That's the you just have to scan those that QR code that's on your screen right now, and you can get the app quite easily. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour. It's been a pleasure giving you the news. Namaskar. Thanks for watching.